Welcome everybody to Amazing You. My name is Dr. Rani Thanakodi. I am your host. I am a certified hypnotherapist using rapid transformational therapy. I am a life and relationship coach, breathwork coach, astrologer, tarot reader, and life force compassion practitioner. And today I have the great pleasure to introduce you to Giovanna Tartarone from the USA. She is an energy practitioner and transformational life coach. Giovanna is also a PGI certified consultant, a Psych-K facilitator, and a certified emotional code practitioner. Welcome, Giovanna, to Amazing You.
Thank you.
So, thank you so much, Giovanna, for taking your time today to speak to the audience. Really grateful for you and for the time you are giving us.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. I'm also very happy to be here to speak with you.
So, Giovanna, can you tell us briefly about your story?
Okay. My story began when I got that knock knock on the door,
Right.
with a horrible phone call, hearing those three letters you have, well, three words, you have cancer.
Okay.
And when that story began, it changed my whole life. I wanted to really understand why. Why would this happen to not only me, but why would this happen to women who are always caregivers, doing everything
Yes.
they can to make sure their families are taken care of? They work so hard.
Yeah.
Um, and it was really hard for me to accept when, my priorities were always to make sure everyone's taken care of. And then when you get hit with such devastating news,
Yes.
it turns your life upside down totally.
Yeah.
So I needed to really, you know, study me to understand why this happened to me.
Yes.
And that's when um, I just became, um, what's the right word I'm looking for? I just became so intrigued by finding out um, the inner work of
Okay.
of healing more
Yes.
so than the outer work, because we know that the healing has to happen internal first. So
Yes.
that experience led me to, we'll say call it professional development, but it was really for me to study who I was and why did this happen to us,
Mm.
or happen to me,
And,
basically.
and how long ago did
And
that happen to you?
so this happened in 2017.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Yeah, my cancer happened in 2017, so I just made 5 years. Um,
That's great.
and it just really it turned my life to where I needed to focus on how to get well,
Yes.
um, and not let it, you know, not let my thoughts control the situation. Was, so, I mean, anyone who's going through it, they can understand that your mind and your takes over your body,
Hmm.
because you're trying to understand how can this happen.
Yes.
And when you get into that state, now you're going to try to, you go to Google and you're like, okay, you're looking for answers, but the
Yeah.
answers I learned are within.
Yes.
And once you go within and you listen for those answers, you realize that there's everything that we do has a consequence, a reward or a consequence.
Yeah.
And, you know, I learned that everything that I was trying to aim for had a consequence. That
Mhm.
was neglecting myself or
Yes.
not eating correctly or not sleeping right. So, all that stress that I decided to put on myself, I understand that was the contributing factor of my cancer. So,
Okay.
that wake up call was time for me to change my life.
Right. So what did you do?
And so I needed to really have more faith in myself to
Okay.
learn to be open-minded, to say, okay, what do I need to change? Because this is a sign of it's time to change, right?
Yes.
I'm grateful that I've gotten a second chance at life,
Mm,
but now I had to make changes so that it doesn't happen again.
absolutely.
Um, so I went in to learn um, ways that I can change
Okay.
because I needed to make change,
Yes. Yes.
right? So to me, as an educator, we know that there's always information out there, but what resonates with you is based on your story.
Yeah.
So based on my story, I resonated with a man by the name of Bob Proctor
Okay.
and his work.
Mm,
And he, many people don't know who he is, but he also started in the movie The Secret.
yes. Yeah.
And what he was saying made a lot of sense that um, what we go through in life is really based on the beliefs that we inherit from our parents, our environment, and some of them from our ancestors.
Yes.
So when you examine those beliefs, you begin to understand the connections, and beliefs become habits.
Yeah.
Beliefs are originating from a thought that we have in our mind that we consistently say it's the truth.
Mm,
And then you take that truth and you let that truth become a belief, and then belief really controls what your feelings and your actions
that's correct.
um, and your results at the end of the
Yes.
day. So that led me to be very, very intrigued to learn more. And I went on to learn how can I change some of these beliefs that are dictating my life.
Yes.
Um, and then I went into energy healing, and I realized that my past, my emotions, my traumas,
Yes.
all contributing to my lifestyle and to the stress that I had.
Mm,
So until I cleaned up the
yeah.
past and my history, I couldn't change. So in order for anyone to see change in their life, they have to go to dig deep inside and do the
Yes.
inner work
Yeah.
because our world reflects our inner world. Our outer
Yes.
world, excuse me, reflects our inner world, right?
That's so true.
Um,
Yes. Yeah. Because we
so
are only reacting to the outside world. Yes.
exactly, exactly. But with change comes discomfort, getting out of your comfort zone,
Yes.
having faith versus fear, right? Because you're going to the unknown territory and you have to do things by really believing in yourself. That,
Mm,
and that's what took me to the next level of my life after I got the cancer is understanding that I'm so much more than the cancer,
yeah. Yeah.
right? Having faith took me to the next level of my life to say, okay, now you have to make other decisions because I wanted to change the way I was doing things. And you feel like a hero when you're helping everyone, but not helping yourself.
Mm,
And then you become the victim because you've
yes.
neglected yourself. So the hero looks good on to everyone on the outside, but it doesn't look good on the inside. So the work that I came across really helped to change my mindset and my thoughts and my beliefs around who I am, what I'm capable of doing, having
Wow.
more faith in my life as a whole. And that internal work is not easy work, but it's work that gets you to a point where you love yourself unconditional,
Yes.
right? You don't judge anymore.
No.
You see everything as a gift
Mhm.
because life is
Yes.
a gift and life is what you make it.
Yeah.
So all of that was very important for me to move on to the next level of my life
Mhm. And would
and start to enjoy life.
yes. And would you say when you went through that journey of healing yourself, that being kind and compassionate was a big part of that as well, of accepting yourself
Totally.
where you are. And
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. Because the more we think about it, we can't love someone if you don't love yourself first.
that's true.
You can't be
Yes,
compassionate with someone if you're not compassionate to yourself first.
that's so true. Heard of that quote of Oscar Wilde? He said, the greatest romance you will ever have is with yourself, because you will
Yeah,
live with yourself 24/7. Yes,
that's right.
that's why you have to become your own best friend.
First,
Yes,
you have to love yourself unconditionally, and then, of
yes.
course, um, and that's the hard part because we're not taught to do that.
No, no.
Especially with women, but more so, right?
Yeah,
But in general, no one is taught to love themselves,
no.
and we don't realize how bad that is, how
Mm,
it can affect us emotionally, physically,
yeah,
mentally, because that's a big component of our well-being.
yes,
Because when you love yourself, you start to take care of yourself, you'll nurture yourself. But when you don't love yourself, a lot of that can just get missed or become unimportant until something hits and you're like, oh, it's time for me to love myself.
yes.
And I think that was one of my biggest lessons too
Mm,
with my cancer journey
right.
is being more nurturing to myself.
Hmm. Yeah. And what would you like to tell the audience today? Those who are facing some really tough times at this moment, whether they are listening or watching this video, what would you like to tell them?
Love yourself first.
Mm. And is there any way, any any technique that you can share that is easy for them to understand how they can love themselves?
I think being quiet,
Right.
being in the present moment, closing down the mind and just um, practice listening because they will get the message that there's so much more. They're so important. They're so loved. We don't feel that way because we're so busy.
Yes.
We don't have time to feel those emotions, the true emotions,
Yeah.
not the voices from the environment, but the
Mhm.
inner voice. I think
Yes.
the best way to really know and to practice loving yourself is to listen to yourself. We don't
Yes.
listen to ourselves,
No.
and we let the outside world affect us and truly control what we do on a daily basis. And that is a message I like to send for sure.
I think that's a very, very important message because I talk about that in a podcast about listening, the gift of listening, the inner self. And I really appreciate that you are bringing that again today because that has helped you on your journey of recovery and to become who you are today, that amazing person who now can help others. So I would say
Thank
thank
you.
you so much for highlighting that again, that the gift of listening to that inner voice within us. Yeah.
It's always that inner voice that really directs the
Yes.
the best journey you can have.
Yeah.
But we are, again, we are so busy in life and we are taking care of everyone and we're doing the best we can. We just don't have time to sit down and listen to that inner voice. And sometimes we get messages that, I for me, I take my cancer phone call as a message to say that it was time for change. But
Mhm.
we don't have to wait to struggle to listen to the message.
That's true.
We know, our bodies know, our minds know when we are not at peace with something,
Yeah.
right? We don't feel good. Our bodies gives us that, this, ease, like body
Yes.
not being at ease,
Yes.
then you know that something is not right, but we ignore it.
Yes.
And then we begin, we get more messages until we pay attention to it, because these messages are our bodies saying, hey, give me some love.
Yes. Yeah.
Take care of me. You're important.
Yeah.
No, not now. No, not now, but you can only do that so long before your body says, okay, now you better pay attention.
Yeah.
And so I think all of us wait for that moment that after so many messages, we finally say, okay, I'm tired now. I need to listen. And it doesn't have to be that way.
That's true.
It's not all about making money. It's not all about getting the big house and the nice cars and all that. It's really about enjoying your life. And, those things are enjoyment for temporary. They're
Yeah.
not permanent enjoyment. Permanent enjoyment is the inner peace you have within you. So, I just want to tell the audience that it's very important to find the peace within first,
Okay.
within themselves, and then they will see the magic appear outside of their world, right? The inner peace has to start within first, and then comes the outer peace. And when it comes to healing, I think all of us, no one is exempt from healing what's within us.
Yes.
Right? We all been through traumas, and doesn't mean traumas of someone dead or cancer. It could be anything that is not in alignment with your inner soul, basically.
Yes.
So, and the feelings and the experiences that, you know, Dr. Bruce Lipton talks about experiences that we had prior to 7 years old
Yes. Yeah.
that are with us forever. And those experiences, some of us didn't have good experiences when we were young,
Yeah.
but we carry them with us throughout our life. So it's important that we work on cleaning up what we call that emotional baggage from traumas when we
Yes.
were young, so that we can get unstuck and block anything that's holding us to reach our true potential. So, when people say, oh my goodness, like, I can't lose weight, I can't lose weight. Um, there's something going on that is deeper than just the weight. The weight is just, there's a law called law of cause and effect,
Yes.
right? So we know that weight is just the effect of some cause.
Yes. Yes.
And I just, I want to, that's what I'm educating my clients with, is helping them see that, things that are appearing in their life is part of decisions that they've made.
Yeah.
And some decisions they didn't even make, but they have to be willing to do that work where you clean up those emotions from the past, because that's really what stops us from moving forward in life.
Yes. Yeah, that's so true. Yes. And we are on that journey since we are born to discover who we are. You know, it's an it's a never-ending journey. Some people have told me, "Oh, will I have to do the inner work all the time?" And then I told them, "This is what we came for, to discover our gifts and our talents. And as we peel off these layers of illusion, we become our authentic self." So some people, it might take longer than others, but we go at our own pace and we discover more of who we are as we grow, as we evolve. And that's the part of growing. Because like Bob Proctor said and Sandy Gallagher said, if we are not growing, we are dying if we are not discovering ourselves. So we are on that path of always learning and growing and clearing up all these stuff within ourselves. So
we're definitely meant to enjoy life. And
yes,
if we don't do the cleanup, you can't enjoy life. And
no,
I think, people, we think that we have to do everything.
mm,
But once you do the cleanup of the past, you find yourself, you don't have to do everything. You can enjoy life a little bit. Because what's holding us back is those experiences
yes,
that were, that hurt us, whatever
yeah,
they were, right? So, any of those experiences, we think we're strong enough to handle it. You know, Maybe physically we could be strong, but mentally
mm,
it's another ball game
yes, yeah,
because we affect the outside world, right? If you think
yes,
about that,
yeah,
right? We think the outside world um, is bad
mm,
and is it, it's us. We perceive the world that way because
yes,
of what has happened to us.
absolutely,
So if we can, you know, clean up what has happened to us emotionally,
yeah,
I think this is when you open up the 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 possibilities of the impossible,
yes,
right? This is where, some people believe in miracles, some people don't. I believe in miracles, and I believe in miracles because I saw myself change
yeah,
to where I'm at more peace with myself,
mm,
with my world. Um, I don't fear
yes,
because my faith has grown so strong that my faith is bigger than my fear.
mm,
And I think when we get to that point in life, it's not that you're avoiding everything. It's you're just recognizing that you are at a different level,
yeah,
and you're more aware of what's going on. You're not going on autopilot anymore.
yeah,
And that's a lot of us. I was in the past on autopilot.
mm,
I was being run by my subconscious mind, by my
yes,
beliefs.
mm,
And beliefs are just habits that we pick up from generation to generation. They don't,
yeah,
they're not even our habits, but we just pick them up because of our environment, our culture, our family, our schools. And I learned through the work that I've done to change those beliefs.
yes,
There's a process with energy, as energy practitioner, that's what I do with my clients. I help them. I just facilitate. They actually do all the work. I hold space for them where
mm,
they, you know, go in and clean up the beliefs that they want to change,
mm,
whether it's
yes,
self-esteem beliefs, confidence, beliefs. There's so many beliefs that we inherit that truly control our decision making and our results in our life.
yes, that's true. So,
And
so tell
so
us
I love.
more, Giovanna, about what you do, all the great things that you do, and how can
So
people reach out to you?
I'm enjoying watching and witnessing my clients just go from not feeling empowered to feeling empowered. Because once they feel empowered, you can see the change in their life
Yes,
where they have control over their life. When you're living from the outside in, the outside is controlling you. So to see my clients say no to something they're not comfortable with
yeah,
and have faith that everything's going to be okay, or to see my client very worried about business and then to see the client succeed and be very happy, or their health, a client with leaving it all to the outside world to take care of their health situation, to saying, you know what, I'm feeling empowered to do this. I'm going to make a decision here, and I'm going to trust my decision is good. I think the biggest message is we don't believe in ourselves that we can do many things. And the question is, why don't we believe in ourselves?
mm,
So I help clients believe in themselves,
okay,
have more faith than fear, get the things that are in the way or keeping them stuck. Heal from the traumas. But this is work that they're doing, and it's all within them. It's their energy.
Yes.
It's their field that I'm just holding space,
Yeah.
and they feel the shift. They feel the difference, and it's easy. It's not hard. I'm not using any machines. It's all themselves. It's all within. It's all natural, holistic coaching, and they love it. They see a difference immediately sometimes.
That's wonderful. Thank you. And can you share with us your website and so that people can reach out to you and contact you, Giovanna?
Sure. They can go to giovannatartarone.com, GiovannaTartarone.com. And they can fill out the form and they can contact with me.
That's great. So the link will appear below so they can contact you. That is wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So Giovanna, I would like to say thank you very much for taking your time today to share your story and to tell us about all that you do, and for speaking to the audience, for opening your heart to the audience today.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I wish you huge success in that new year, where you become the greatest version of yourself and that you can transform many, many lives, Giovanna.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And I would say thank you, Giovanna. Thank you again. And thank you to the audience for watching, for listening, and for subscribing. And we look forward to talking to seeing all of you again very soon. Thank you. Bye, everyone.